So there is more going on in the Fani Willis disqualification hearing. Judge McAfee, the poor guy, is trying to get his decision done and out the door and made within a short time frame, but more keeps happening. If you missed the most recent update, I think it was Friday, the Georgia State Senate Special Committee that's looking into any ethics violations involved with Fani Willis, Nathan Wade, they subpoenaed Ashley Merchant. They're looking to look at the text messages, and I'm sure she's willing to provide them. But that's happening in another realm, right? Well, today we have this new update where Fani Willis, it says here, Fani Willis case upended as prosecutor offers to testify against her. Now, we're going to hear that it doesn't really matter if Terrence Bradley's credible anymore. Here's why. The fate of Fani Willis has been called into question once again after a Georgia prosecutor offered to testify against her, claiming another witness's testimony about her relationship with Nathan Wade was wrong. Last month, Willis, the Fulton County District Attorney, gave evidence in a two-day hearing following accusations by former Donald Trump staffer and co-defendant Michael Roman that she was having an affair with Wade, a special prosecutor she hired in the high-profile case. It was also alleged the pair had benefited financially from taxpayers' money. Willis and Wade later admitted they had a relationship but denied a conflict of interest. The timeline of their relationship has emerged as a key point of contention, and Roman has said it started earlier than they admitted. Remember, Ashley Merchant is the attorney for Michael Roman. Trump's lawyers examined phone records, alleging the pair were in a relationship before the Georgia election fraud case began. Newsweek contacted Willis via LinkedIn for comment. So we're just messaging people on LinkedIn? One witness in the case was Terrence Bradley, Wade's former divorce lawyer, who gave evidence attesting that the pair's relationship timeline was correct. But in a Monday court filing, Cindi Lee Yeager, a co-chief deputy district attorney for the Cobb County, Georgia District Attorney's Office, said Bradley told her Willis and Wade's relationship began earlier than they stated. Now, we're not just going to stop there. It's not just going to be Terrence Bradley's word of mouth only. The filing by David Schaefer, a Trump co-defendant who, like Roman, has argued Willis should be removed from the case, said that Yeager claimed on Friday, so this is new, that Bradley had in the past told her that Wade and Willis met and started their romantic relationship in 2019, and Willis had told Bradley to keep it quiet. The filing said, in or around September of 2023, Mr. Bradley was visiting Miss Yeager in her office when Mr. Bradley, and we got a spelling error here, received a telephone call. Miss Yeager could hear this, that the caller was District Attorney Willis. District Attorney Willis was calling Mr. Bradley in response to an article that was published about how much money Mr. Wade and his law partners had been paid in this case. Miss Yeager heard District Attorney Willis tell Mr. Bradley, "They are coming after us. You don't need to talk to them about anything about us." And remember, September is when, at least as far as we've been able to see in the timeline, is when those text messages start between Ashley Merchant and Terrence Bradley. It added, Miss Yeager watched Mr. Bradley's testimony before the court and became concerned as a result of the fact that Mr. Bradley testified on the stand was directly contrary to what Mr. Bradley had told Miss Yeager in person. So the whole, I was just speculating, I have no personal knowledge. Miss Yeager's like, but you did, because I heard you speaking directly to Miss Willis, which would be direct knowledge. Willis is running the case against Trump and 18 others who are accused in a 41-count indictment of trying to overturn his 2020 election loss in Georgia. So, and that's where this ends here. So there's that, and perhaps this was the witness that one of the co-defendant's attorneys had said on Friday morning before the hearing started, before closing arguments started, hey, I just discovered someone new this morning. It could either be that or the man who claimed to be a server that served Nathan Wade, Terrence Bradley, and Terrence Bradley's now attorney representing him in this disqualification hearing, Chopra, that they were all together dining, and this was recently. So even after Terrence Bradley had left the firm and parted ways, something happened with their friendship. This waiter said, hey, they were all still at least on good enough terms to be out at dinner together somewhat recently. That could have been the other witness that the defense wanted to introduce as well. Although if it was this that was discovered on Friday, this is a lot more compelling because this is a co-chief deputy district attorney for Cobb County who's coming forward and saying, hey, this is actually what I overheard. And it wasn't just from Terrence Bradley. I could actually hear Miss Willis saying these things over the phone back in September of 2023. We also still don't have any information about whether or not the judge wants to get that phone records information, the CSLI data, on the record. But he did say, as he's going through his decision, if he needs to get that on the record, he'll call forth a hearing to let them make their arguments for and against bringing that in. And if he agrees to let it in, the witness will come in, the summary witness will come in and do their thing. So that's the update I've got on this so far. Again, the timeline for Scott McAfee on Friday was 2 weeks. He hopes to have a decision ready. Let me know your thoughts on this. And if you were thinking, hey, the only thing they've got is Terrence Bradley, and Terrence Bradley is not a credible witness, which I totally agree. How do you feel about this? Floor is yours. You guys leave your comments, and see you next time.